I'm live. Hello, beautiful people. Nobody's out there yet. But I'm still getting used to how do we talk to ourselves on a live. I'm used to it. People are not usually out there when I'm live. Anywho, but I came through today. How are you? It's Althea, your magical minister. Please love, like, share, subscribe, and comment, because I got an awesome comment for one of my chosen ones videos, just kind of going over how do you know that you're a chosen one. And someone left a comment, a young man, 21 years old. I have been getting so many, enough. I won't say so many. It's not like I'm overwhelmed with comments and inboxings, but I am. Like, it's leveling up. And so I've been getting stuff in my inbox, Messenger, Instagram, just confirmations. And I gotta say, thank you. People that comment, people that like, people that have subscribed, because my subscriptions have gone up. I just have to first and foremost say, like, thank you for your comments. In the last week and a half or so, I have been doing some things differently, tuning in, tapping in, and shutting out a lot of energies that are not really beneficial, so I can hear clearly. And as I did that, like, you guys, the tribe or the family that I am chosen to, have been coming through. I'm talking about people that, again, are coming through from 30 years ago. Of course, some bloodline, some non-related, but definitely chosen ones. And so, having said that, like, I almost forgot what I titled this, but we just want to chat a bit about, like, the phenomena of being chosen, the journey of being chosen, and following. And when you're called for the calling, if you accept the calling and you go down that track, and every step of the way you say, yes, I want to elevate. Yes, I want to be above and not beneath. You don't navigate, you don't do things like they do down there on the third dimension, so to speak. You're always reaching for that higher level of consciousness and that higher approach, that higher perspective, that spiritual perspective. And so I can recall, of course, being a young kid and knowing that I ain't really from here, not around these parts, not around these people. And I always kind of could, know that I'm an observer of sorts. As I reflect back, my earliest memories identify me as an observer, a seer, stepping out of the framework. And I will say this, guys, like chosen ones, people, starseeds, light bearers, those phenomena, I'm sure you can relate. You can remember, like, why am I here? You feel displaced, because that's exactly what all of us on this earth have been displaced, because we came from above and we made a decision to come here and do some particular work. Well, what I'm finding is, like, this particular phase and the territories that I have sojourned, traveled through, and the tribes and the family and the kinsmen, we all share some commonalities in terms of being chosen unto a particular work, a spiritual work, a generational work. You hear people talking about ancestors and the ancestors this and the ancestors that. You're like, so what's the point? Nobody's there to comment, but I was really like, what's the point? What's your point? Ancestors, chosen ones, starseeds, light bearers, goddesses. What are we doing with all of that? What was it given unto you for? Right? You're chosen unto what end? What is it that you're trying to accomplish? What is it that you have contracted to come here and complete? I know that a lot of it for our people in this generation is about wounded children, our wounded souls, generation to generation to generation. And another word that I will use, and I know that this is about the restoration of honor, bringing back the honor where honor is due, right? And the first person that gets to has to step into that place of honor is you, chosen one. So everything that you have gone through, everything that you have experienced, everyone that has despised you, put you down, turned you away, counted you out, through all of that dishonor, it is in now, in this day, that we are bringing back honor to a generation. And we're restoring honor to our predecessors. I know I am. I'm going to correct myself. I don't know what you're doing, and that's the issue. I don't know what you're doing, but what I'm doing is I'm bringing honor to my ancestors, to my generation, and to myself, and for future generations. To this generation and generations to come, I will show forth the light and the work and the power of the divine that's within, that I've been representing all of these 50 years, right? So I won't rest my head until I've accomplished that. That I've known for a good 15 years. That's me. Psalm 71. What is it that you are called to? You know, whom and what population, what territory, what field have you been assigned to? What wounded child, what component of that wounded child's trauma is it that you are here to heal for yourself, and then for those that you have been sent unto? Like this last couple of weeks, the messages and the reaching out has been profound. You know, I've had relatives, family, and such come to me with some real significantly shocking realities, but it all makes sense. I have my own shocking realities. And on that note, I say, but by the grace of God, there go I, because my scenario and situation, as many people that do know of my personal 2021 tower moment, shifting, transition, all of that stuff. Anyone who knows my story, you know, I've had some loved ones transition. My love, January 3rd, he died, transition rather. And then 8 months later, my mom did. And in between that, the rest of my life transitioned. So this thing of dying, being born again, and dying, and forsaken all, and being forsaken by all is real, right? So anyone who is confused about whether they're chosen or not, you're probably not, because you would feel the pain by now. You would have felt the pressure of dying. You would have felt the succumbing. You would have seen Calvary, right? So if you're questioning whether or not, you know, you're chosen, and maybe you are chosen, maybe you just haven't answered your call in spirit and in truth, maybe. But the phenomena are real, and the more you don't answer your call, the worse it gets, the tighter it gets, the more congested it gets, and you just don't feel that sense of contentment, peace within yourself, because you're far off the trajectory of your assignment, right? If you're chosen and you ain't answering the call, you're going to feel that pain and that pressure. And even if you're not, even if you have answered the call, we have to go through that pain and that pressure. That's a part of the phenomena of a chosen one who can recall, like, the the adversities, the moments of choice between the yes and no, the truth and the lie, and you had to choose truth. You had to choose yes. You had to reach upward, and it doesn't seem like you got much of a reward for your right choices. Doesn't seem like you got much of an appreciation for much of anything that you may have deposited in this earth. You know your sacrifice. If you know your sacrifice, then you know who you are. Look at your work, and then you can see where you are in your trajectory of ascending. Because divine wants you to accomplish your goal and what you came here to do and to finish. They want you to finish well. And really, for chosen ones, for you to fail, it would just be because you chose to. Because right now, the heavens and everything in it, the whole host is on the chosen one side, because if you've done your work, they're on your side. They're saying right now, you don't need to do much of anything else except figure out yourself and what you want next, where you want to be. How does this next, set of life cycles look for you, chosen one, right? Leave the adversities alone. Like I said, we're going to discuss the phenomena of a chosen one. We can discuss those things briefly, but to go back and dredge up all of the instances in which we were challenged and tried and denied and rebuked and refused, nobody wants to do that. You don't need to do that to know who you are today. So really, you want to be focusing more on what you want ahead of you versus what has transpired behind you. However, I know there are those of us, and all of us have to do our processing, and we have to bring things up and accept and heal and release. So there is a purpose for going back, looking back, but not to dredge over conversations about what happened and how it happened and who did what, because you'll never get up out of that. That's a third dimensional construct. Chitter chatter. I said it. Chitter chatter is a third dimensional construct that doesn't really serve anyone well. You'll get yourself in a lot of trouble with a lot of chitter chatter in these days. November 29th, 2021, as of, I want to say, like October ish, you should have been watching every word that proceeded out of your mouth with caution, because the veil is thin and we're very accountable. We are, as chosen ones, light bearers. If you're walking in your power, what you say will manifest. And if you're saying something with a slip of the tongue, you might end up sorry, right? And you don't want that. So I, as you may have already known and heard, I've withdrawn myself from a lot of chitter chatter. I've never been one to engage in a bunch of chitter chatter, meaningless chatter that doesn't serve anyone any real purpose. When you start seeing a circular conversation and we haven't come to any conclusions and we haven't come to any resolve and we haven't healed the matter, solved the matter, then we need to stop talking about the matter. We're missing something. So I've never been one about a lot of chitter chatter and going over, mulling over sugar, honey, iced tea. And so I've kind of, in preparing to continue with my shift and my change, I am taking my position in my seat as the goddess, the empress, the one who I have come through and matriculated. There's no need to be down there in the courts fooling around, talking about nothing, right? And so before my mega event year 2021, I really was a hermit in terms of, like, I say to myself and my little family and my man, bless his soul. And I didn't have a lot of extra conversations that were not purposed. But with 2021 and with the events happening, it opened up the floodgates, as I knew it would, and a lot of my family, my extended family from when I was a child, that's when the floodgates opened and they came forward to offer me the energy that they were assigned to offer, right? To present to me the different scenarios that they had to present. That's one thing you got to understand, chosen one. Like, you got to, when you get here, you stop looking at people as people. You start looking at people as catalyst, as triggers, maybe confirmation. People are people, but they're in your life for a purpose. On our team, chosen ones, we can have, you guys talk about haters, and I know we got them, but another way of looking at that is they're antagonists. You have have different players. Everybody has to play their role. Neville Goddard said in a couple of his lectures and in instances that he shared, um, in which the divine intervention just took over, because he made a determination that people play their part. Even the beggar, even the robber, he doesn't condemn and judge their role, because if they don't play their part, then you can't shift into your part. So people are catalytic in this season, and especially when we're talking about activation of people's gifts, and even just knowing that they are on this course of being chosen to ascend as the masters. And that's a big conversation. So listen, I've been knowing who I am and who I represent and who I'm an ambassador for and who I lift up, light and love, right? It's not no person, but it's the spirit of divine power, light, love, and truth that I have always walked in. And so here we are now, like, we're getting ready to inherit the kingdom. I don't know about you. And there are lots of little loose ends that some of you might feel that you need to tie up, and then a lot of that loose end stuff is pain and grief and trauma, right? And then be aware that some of it might not even be yours. It might not even be yours. Once you're done with your trauma, your pain, and your regrets and remorse and all of that stuff, then you step back and you say, well, why am I feeling like this? Because it's not your mess. It's not your energy. If you're a chosen one, the light bearer, starseed, you're probably highly empathic and you're feeling the energies of others. You're feeling the energy of the collective. You might be feeling the energy of the collective that you are called to, right? Your tribe. Because before I came out of the dark night of the soul, and we're going to have that conversation, I'm waiting for one of my girlfriends to chime in. We're going to have a real table talk of sorts about my dark night of the soul experience. And so, before I came out of the dark night of the soul, I knew, my guides, my higher self said, are you going to get your shit together, basically, so we can do what you came here to do or not? Because are you staying? I'm telling you, that's what guidance said. Are you staying? You going to finish this thing up? And I knew that there were souls, my loves, that were going to that needed something that I know I had in me. So I had to get through that dark night of the soul. And when I did, 2021 happened. And when it happened, those family members came out of the woodwork to support me, to see what happened, and to have conversation. And the conversations that I have had in 2021 are unprecedented. Unprecedented. This live is about 19 minutes or so. I might delete it, might not upload it. Don't know yet. But if anyone is listening to this point when they do the replay, when 2021 hit, and all of the events started to unfold and the tower started to fall, my people, my family of old, there were gems that were deposited in me in that dark night, in that dark space. I got it. And a lot of my alchemic work in the year of 2020, identified those keys to unlock and to heal the soul of those wounded souls that will come to me. And maybe even those that are still yet to come through this medium of social media. People are coming, chosen ones. People are watching your light. People need your light.